Hi guys, Mr. Waffles here. 10 years ago, to the day, I sat in this garden and reacted for the first time to the Origins intro cinematic that had just come out. It was before the map came out about a week later. And I figured, seeing as it's been 10 years, I've changed so much. You guys have changed so much as well, and the story of Call of Duty and zombies and all of that has also advanced so much in that time. It would be nice to have a little coming full circle moment and to react to my original reaction to that trailer, and do so also with the last opportunity that I have, because this is my uncle's little garden in France. He's moving out. And so this is a nice little sort of bookend to that part of his life and my life, like plugging into that as well. So this is weirdly emotional for me, but in a good way. So we're going to watch the trailer, and I'll tell you some stories as I go as well about what it was like 10 years ago to be making videos. Because bear in mind, that's before my YouTube channel had any real success, I would say. It was the early days, and I'd been hustling and grinding like crazy already for years at that point, but just to no real avail. And Origins, in many ways, was the door that opened and changed my life in a completely unexpected way. Really, truly has been wonderful. And I've gotten to know all of you guys since then. So let's start watching, and then I can I can start nattering about various stories and bits and pieces as we go. Here we go. I'm gonna make sure my sound is up. Also, I remember recording this 10 years ago. In the sun, the brightness of my screen cannot compete with how bright it is out here, but it's okay.
Hi guys, Mr. Waffles here. I'm just about to watch the new...
Okay, maybe let's turn it down. I don't want the neighbours being like, what on earth is going on here?
Hi guys, Mr. Waffles here. I'm just about to watch the new Origins intro cinematic featuring Avengers Sevenfold that's just been released by Treyarch.
Has my voice changed, or am I the exact same? Let me know. Because to me, I sound very, very different, but that might be wishful thinking. I'm not sure.
Haven't seen it yet. It's currently 7:37 French time. I'm in France right now. I'm planning to visit the actual location of Origins tomorrow if we can find it. Currently, the plan is basically to visit Fort Douaumont and the boneyard type place associated with it, and then we're going to go hopefully north.
I think that was an ossuaire, maybe.
A little bit, maybe go into Belgium, possibly look at some monasteries, although we're not really sure, and but sort of explore Verdun before we do that, and it should be good. That's with me not knowing where this is actually set. Like, this is just guesswork at this point, but hopefully this trailer will give us some answers as to where the map is, and I'll be able to actually go and record the actual map essentially in real life.
So the reason that was a thing is they put out a little bit of teaser material, and we knew that it was going to be in northern France in some capacity, right? But little did little Milo know what was about to happen in this trailer, because, well, I mean, maybe I shouldn't spoil it. Some of you haven't seen the original reaction, so for those of you out there that want to avoid spoilers, let's keep it moving.
Makes sense? Anyway, gonna watch the trailer now. Obviously, I'm doing a facecam live reaction as well, so here we go. 3, 2, oh, let's make sure my sound is up.
Some things never change.
Because I'm on my laptop right now in the middle of France with a quite idyllic setting behind me. Let's just do a sound test. Oh.
Of course, the video starts with like ESRB rating, so there's no sound there.
Wait for some sound.
There we go.
That works. Okay. 3.
I love that I left that in the video. Like, bear in mind, at this point, it was 2013, so I probably had about 50,000 subscribers, but many of them were dead because I'd been building that channel for 4 years already. So I posted this video at the time and it got maybe 1,000 views despite all the subscribers that I had, because I built them up and then lost them and then built them up and then lost them. And I was at school, right? So I had just had to step away from content for my exams. I hadn't played Mob of the Dead. I didn't even know Mob of the Dead existed. And so I was coming back from after my exam period on holiday with my family in the summer and then plugging into Origins. So that's kind of how it all fit together. And I really distinctly remember Matt, MC Sports Talk, he hit me up on Facebook, which I just don't even use anymore, but he hit me up on Facebook towards the end of the summer before I started this trip, and he was like, yo, have you seen MOTD? And I'd been away because I'd been doing my exams, and I was like, what? Like Match of the Day? Because that's a football thing in the UK. He's like, no, Mob of the Dead. I had no idea what that even meant. To this day, I've only played Mob of the Dead maybe 7 or 8 times, which is crazy to think about. A lot of people don't know that about me. They assume that I was there for it, but I was busy doing schoolwork. And so a lot of that churn of making content and then not making content meant that my subscribers just sort of fell off in a big way, I think. And also, I was a nerdy little rap boy, so I don't blame them for not necessarily being present for everything. But anyway, let's keep watching.
2, 1, begin. Oh boy. Northern France, 1918.
Northern France. Classic. So classic now.
Oh, there's a map. Oh, Maxis looks weird.
Maxis looks weird. So interestingly, there's concept art of what Maxis looked like before this, and he looks nothing like he does in this trailer. But this was our first new canon shot of Maxis. My mind was blown, the fact that they even bothered to show him in the first place, because prior to this, in terms of public perception, we had like his little desk ornament, for instance, in Doriz. We had obviously radio, so we knew what his voice was like, but nothing on this level. So that in itself, had that been the end of the trailer, I would have been happy.
Maxis is already old. Oh dear, there's the stuff on the walls. What is that? Oh boy. Oh my god. Okay, so they're breaking... They're breaking into the ruins.
The
and
mound.
there's soldiers there with gas masks on, and then something's coming through there.
Here it comes.
What is that? I can't see. There's like a reflection of my... Oh dear. Okay. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh man.
I'm literally giddy. Like at this point in the video, I'm sitting here like...
This is... And obviously the music is Avenged Sevenfold, I'm assuming. This is going to be so good. I don't care about the fog anymore. This is going to be so good.
That was still a thing. We'd been worrying about the fact that there was going to be fog on this map too. And because of that, because there'd been a load of leaks as well, right? Because of that, people were stressing about whether it was going to be transit style and it was going to block locations and things. So I think that was a real point of stress for people at the time, but I now no longer cared, apparently. He was too stunned to speak.
So we've got the zombies there, and they're holding them off. There's Tank looking like an absolute beast.
Beast, yep.
I'm assuming that's the new machine gun.
It is the new machine gun. Well spotted,
This
Milo.
map looks so crazy. I'm loving the fact that they've got a cutscene like this as well. This is so cool.
It was so, like, this style of cutscene.
In classic Call of the Dead cutscene style, slicing the zombies up and assassinating them as each character would do.
Very Call of the
Loving
Dead.
it. Oh, this is so good. Yeah, okay, I don't really care about Nikolai and stuff killing the zombies. Although that is pretty damn awesome what he's doing.
You know, Nikolai just gonna casually save the entire universe, you know, just casually gonna be the most important character in the entire story in many respects. Don't really care about him though.
Yeah, okay, I don't really care about Nikolai and stuff.
Like, not really important. Let's move on. Yeah, okay, you can kill a zombie, Nikolai. Let's move past that, shall we?
With his, like, ratchet type thing.
Ratchet? What?
Ratchet? Ratchet air zombies. This is cool though.
Oh no.
Through the door that we saw earlier, and then we've got some steam shizzle. Takeo with his sword being an absolute beast.
Beast, again. Don't have a lot more vocabulary than that.
I'm just gonna let it play through. I feel like at this point it's just sort of showing off the fact that they can make cutscenes.
So I know exactly what my brain is thinking here. My brain is thinking, I want to rewind to the map and I want to look at Maxis' face again, but I need to watch the rest of the trailer because it's a trailer reaction, and I can't build a YouTube channel if I literally sit there and just analyze a map for 45 minutes. Spoiler alert, I kind of ended up doing that anyway, but certainly my thinking at the time was, no one's going to be interested in that, so I was like, well, let's get through the end of the trailer first and then I'll do all the fun stuff.
There's not really much here to excite me. The beginning bit is the crazy bit.
Yeah, because of the map.
Oh. They realise, okay. So this is literally the first moment they see each other.
The standoff.
I guess. Where's Richtofen? Where is he?
There he comes.
Where is he?
Oh, you know he's coming.
Oh, what's he doing? Oh, he's like mid-experiment?
Not just any experiment.
Oh boy, there's the, I love what he looks like right now. Why is he doing that as if he's like confused as to what he's been doing? That's a bit weird.
I'm glad I picked up on that because obviously, like, we now know what's been going on there, and obviously playing the map and the Maxis drone, etc. But the fact that I'm tuning into those things, it's so satisfying to watch back and be like, oh, that was unexplored territory in my mind prior to this, right? Like seeing the revelations or the eureka moments starting to set in and starting to dawn on me. It's so cool.
I just love the fact that Richmond is like bewildered.
For a reason, buddy.
Right above them. Oh boy. Foot.
my face.
Oh my god. What?
I'm like, I need to hear the last bit.
It's gonna be so good. Oh my god. From the beginning again. Just from
the beginning again. Seeing my childlike reaction to this is so heartwarming for me because I used to come here, right, with my family, like I said, in the summers or what have you, visit family, stuff like that. But there's no internet around here. So what I'd have to do is we'd have to go from the other village that I'd be staying in, and we'd work our way through the sort of barren wastelands of France. It's not wastelands, it's just lots of like farming stuff going on. And we'd get to this house and I'd be like, okay, can we go to his house? Can we go to his house? And as soon as we'd get here, I would scurry inside, and like right tucked in his kitchen is where his router would be, or router, right? His internet router. So I'd scurry around the corner, find the router, sit down, plug in my laptop, and just be a little gremlin, basically. And the internet was obviously very slow, like very like 0.1 up, and that's not really enough to upload a YouTube video with, right? So that's part of the reason why this video, the old one, looks so kind of grainy, because I had to render it out at a low resolution so that I would actually feasibly be able to upload it while I was here. But I would do that, and then obviously inevitably the internet would go down or what have you. So I'd be like, oh god, well, I need to get the video up, like it needs to happen. And so I'd be like, okay, I'll leave my laptop here overnight, and that means I have an excuse to come back the next day and use the internet again. So there was all sorts of this sort of thing going on, and it's interesting because this was not a business for me at the time. It was not a career. It was not a life path. It was not serious in that regard, but I treated it so seriously. I put it above so much else in my life in order to make that happen, and in many ways sacrificed a lot of other opportunities or moments in order to make sure that I could constantly stay at the front of that curve. And it was difficult, and much of that attitude, I think, is why I was so successful in Black Ops 3, because I'd been putting the work in for 6 years with limited success at best, and it finally clicked, and all of that hard work started paying off in a really big way. But also, it's the same attitude that led to my burnout, really, in 2019, where I had to take 6-9 months off YouTube and go and live in the mountains and become Mountain Milo for a bit, right? So just as it led to much of my career taking shape in the first place, it also was a massive imprint on my career that really hindered me in a big way. And it's interesting to think about how you've got your sort of hustle culture and the highs of that and what that can get you, but also how that can hold you back and how it can really impact your life in negative ways too. I certainly don't have any regrets about scurrying in here and being a little internet goblin in the corner trying to upload my YouTube videos, but it definitely makes you think. It really does.
The first bit when she's talking.
I'm rewatching now.
Oh no, I muted it. Whoops. 935.
935.
That's gotta be. It's blue.
Here we go. So I'm like, why the hell is it blue? Because that was new as well. So many things in the story. Like, bear in mind at this point, multiverse stuff wasn't a thing, right? We didn't know that was where we were going, really. And the revelation of that in itself was massive. And I remember meeting up with Jason Blundell, and I'd actually played through Origins, etc. And then in 2015, before Black Ops 3 came out, I met up with him for, I think, the first time at Gamescom, I think it was, in 2015. And so we're in Germany, in Cologne. So I've just got to this hotel. I've just been told by the US side of things, but we're going to meet Jason Blundell, and apparently they have a surprise plan for us. No! And the way that Activision organized it is it was a gift from the studio of these posters. Something is in this tube. Check out the one and only Jason over here.
So, signed by the dev team, so we got it all signed for you. As a just little thank you for all your support, and
this is so cool. And so I met up with Jason, and I talked to Jason for like 20 minutes, and then we were like, oh, should we maybe get food? And the Activision PR guy, a guy called Alan, I think it was Alan at least, maybe. Oh, well, I'm worried it was someone else now, but I think it was Alan. Alan was with us, and there was maybe a guy called Josh too. Both of whom were like great. I really loved working with those guys. And so they brought us to this restaurant, and I brought a little blue book with me, which was just a little notebook, maybe this large. And I brought it with me, and it was full of just stuff about zombies. I'd taken feedback from the high round community. I'd taken feedback about Mob of the Dead. I'd taken feedback from people about their opinions of where the story should be going, like all sorts, right? And so I sat down with Jason, and him and I, like, we stopped talking about, I think it was about 6 a.m. 4:51
yep.
in the morning. We've just got back from our talk with Jason Blundell. The Activision PR guy had fallen asleep at that point, so it was just us, and we just talked about zombies, and it was incredible. And the reason I bring this up is one of the things that he asked me was, Milo, like, where do you think the story's going? Like, obviously he was never going to tell me anything, but he was just like, give me your best shot, give me your best theory. And I said to him, I know this would be paradoxical, but I'd love for there to be some kind of weird loop where somehow the characters get to the end of the story in the present day, or the future that we'd seen in the older maps, like I don't know, like a moon, for instance, right? And I'd love for that to somehow wrap around, and that's how they get to Origins in the first place. Like, it's not them being born and then they go towards being their later selves later, but rather they are somehow brought back, or there's some kind of loop there. But I said to him at the time, like, it would work so well because of the statues in Origins. We see those grandiose statues, and I would love for those to be shrines to the future versions of them, shrines for acts that they did in the future, but then they were built in the same way that you would remember a fallen soldier in the past, but about this future battle, this future war. And I said all this to him, and he was like, Like, that's what Jason would always do. He'd go, And that was it. He wouldn't smile. And that's kind of what we got. So I don't know if Jason was like, oh, damn, that's kind of a good idea. Or if it was already planned. I think most of it was probably already planned. But so funny that even a year after Origins, right? Or 2 years after Origins, late 2015, the community still had no real idea that we were going multiversal in the way that we were. And this was the beginning of it, and me being like, why is it blue and stuff is all very much part of that.
Interestingly, there are yellow eyes on that guy before he even does anything, it looked like.
I'm nearly at the good bit. There's a bit of the video that I want to talk about.
And then you've got this This map is going to be so good.
Yeah, it is.
Samantha! Oh my god. Ah! Right, just the last bit. Just one more time. Yep. One more time.
Oh, hello.
Duh, robot, yeah, okay, yada yada yada. It's got his little rotating thing, which is interesting because the zombies have that as well, so I guess they were That's so cool. Alright, I've missed Ruffle.
Nope, wrong. Dude, I always used to do this in my videos. I always used to force myself to do my videos in one take, right? And that was something that, when I started, I was recording on an iPhone 3GS. There wasn't an option for me to sort of stop and start and things like that. So it was always trying to be in one take, and I was always really obsessed with trying to make my vocabulary sound intelligent. Like, I wanted to just be interesting to listen to, right? So I would constantly pull these random ass words out to try and enhance the content in some way. But doing stuff in one take and trying to pull random words out is not an easy task, right? But it meant that I would also get into these moments where I'd start talking really fast and be like, I'm Mr. Waffles, thanks for watching the video. If you really enjoyed it, leave a like. If you haven't, blah, 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 like that. And this was a prime example of it. I was was just my thing, dude. I hadn't really quite grasped the fact that people actually had to watch these videos, and maybe seeing someone go blah, 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 at their face for 15 seconds was not particularly entertaining, but, you know, you live and learn.
I'm so excited right now. Oh boy. Oh boy.
It's not the end, though.
Yes, Trail.
Do your little claps.
Right, let me just quickly look at this map. Okay, I know this is dragging on now, guys. I apologize.
So I had a friend at school called Charlie, and that really sounded like him, weirdly.
This map is where... All right, we've got, obviously, the characters fading in there, so I'm just going to sort of pause it there. It looks like that is exactly where I am, right?
So this was the weirdest thing, right? I'd come away for like a week. I never had time off. I wouldn't take time off on weekends. I wouldn't take time off in holidays. Like, the only time I would ever take off is when I was grinding for my exams. And so I'd come to France not with any intention that this would be where the trailer would show us. And yet...
Now, funnily enough, I'm actually a little south of Troyes. So...
Still true.
If we're going into the bar... I can't really see because my video is in 240p because the internet here is so bad.
Yep.
Bar de Le Duc.
Bar le Duc, yep.
However you pronounce that. I don't speak French.
Still don't.
I guess that's where we're going tomorrow. Verdun.
So we weren't going to Verdun. So what happened there is we had the map, right, at the start of the trailer. I'll put it on screen now. And you could see where I was, basically, on that map, which was so... weird, like such a very surreal and kind of unsettling moment in some ways. And so what I did is I looked at what the map had on it, and I looked up famous and important churches in the area, because I was going north home the next day, I think it was. So the timing of this was nuts. And so what we did is me and my family, we basically carved out a little path of going to Bar-le-Duc, which is right in the center of the map in the video, and going to some nearby towns that like Ossuaire and all that sort of stuff, and trying to find the church that was the Origins church. Because obviously the trenches are going to be harder to find in a forest or whatever, right? But the church itself, that's a bit more of a landmark. And so we went to a variety of churches, and some of them were really beautiful. And the Bar-le-Duc church, I remember there were several there that were really cool. But I also distinctly remember going into this church and seeing this hung up sort of skeleton, right? And Jimmy Zielinski had actually already previously on Twitter tweeted out a picture of that skeleton. I had seen the skeleton, but I didn't realize Jimmy had tweeted about it. And in researching the skeleton later, I realized that there was crossover between the two things, and I was blown away that I'd found this really niche, deep reference that no one would ever normally have been able to discover.
We've got Jimmy Z's profile, all right? Oh, yeah. What's this? It's a picture of a skull with all these gems on it. So I'm like, what could this possibly be? Okay, and earlier on today, I was searching through my pictures of that I was taking of France, and there's some nice stuff, and there's a church. It looks very nice. Okay, so that's great. And I was like, okay, I wonder what happens when I reverse image search this. All right, so we put it in the back tracer, and kaboom! Scroll down to about 2/3 of the way down the page, and boom! What do we see? What could this possibly mean? Now, at this point, I'm scrolling through my pictures of France going, what could this possibly mean? There has to be a meaning here. I wonder what the meaning could possibly be. There's got to be something related to it. So I'm like, if I scroll down one, and scroll down again, what could this possibly...
But just because I was chasing real-life Easter egg conspiracy secrets at the time, I'd stumbled on it, and it didn't really end up going anywhere, but it was like, oh, I've got a window into Jimmy's mind now that I didn't have previously, and I can better understand all this stuff, and that's what Zombies was back in the day in many ways, and I've been a conspiracy theorist and an Easter egg hunter and solver ever since, and I mean, it's been some of the best memories of my life, and has spawned this career as well.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
I'm so hyped right now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Mr. Ruff Ruffles, and I will see you tomorrow where it all began. Bye-bye.
I'm so corny, dude. And then, of course, at the end of the video, I do the, like... face leaning in. So that was that. It's been 10 years. My hair's changed a bit. I've got a little bit more facial hair now as well. I've had a really wonderful time making all the videos that I have for you guys. Thousands and thousands of videos and live streams and in-person meet and greets and trailer reactions like this and all sorts. Blackboard solving ciphers and translating alien languages and it's been a journey, and I just wanted to say thank you to all of you for coming with me on that road. And who knows, now that we've got a new chapter of the story beginning, and in many ways new chapters of my life beginning too, hopefully we can carve out another decade of good memories together. So thanks for watching. I've been Mr. Waffles. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you haven't, leave a like. If you haven't, let me know why in the comment section down below, and I'll see you tomorrow where it all began. Thanks guys, bye for now. Done.
Off.
Yeah.